Whether you're joining a Product Marketing Alliance event for the first time or if you're a seasoned regular, welcome to the Product Marketing Festival 2022. We have an awesome selection of innovative content lined up for you today, but before we dive in, I just want to say a huge thank you to our sponsors, speakers and you, our global audience, for joining us. From wherever in the world you are watching, we're sure you'll enjoy today's talks. To get the most out of these sessions, please ensure you are sharing your feedback and asking your questions in the comment section for our speakers to answer. Each of today's sessions recordings will be uploaded into our on-demand content library. If you aren't already, then why not become a PMA Pro member and benefit from unlimited access to exclusive templates, frameworks, and our entire library of videos from all our events. So with all that to come, let's dive right in.
Right. Hi, everyone, and welcome to How to Drive More Impactful Go-to-Market Strategies with Market and Customer Insights. My name is Morgan, and here's a little bit about me. I live in Redwood City, California, with my husband, Alex, and golden retriever, Penny. I'm a researcher turned marketer, beginning my career at Nielsen in their marketing analytics division, consulting for major consumer goods companies. I then joined SurveyMonkey, now Momentive, over 7 years ago, and I've been in product marketing for over 5 of those years, having built the function for our insights business. So time for a little bit of humble brags. I was named one of PMA's top 100 product marketing influencers and ShareBird's top 100 product marketing mentors. Last year, I taught the product launch course for CXL's product marketing mini degree. One thing about my role that I just love is building frameworks and enabling other product marketers to be just as successful. And just for fun, my guilty pleasures are reality dating shows and sour candy. All right. So some of you may not be familiar with Momentive, but you may know us as the maker of SurveyMonkey. Last year, we rebranded our company to create a fresh page to tell our story. And as we've evolved way beyond surveys, we needed something that gave us that breadth of storytelling capabilities. We are a leader in agile insights and experience management with AI-powered solutions built for the speed of modern business, spanning 5 different categories. So we help you deeply understand your market, elevate your brand performance, deliver memorable customer experiences, innovate and build new products, and cultivate happy, engaged employees. Our solutions benefit from our immense scale, as SurveyMonkey's been in business for over 2 decades, and that history of building research technology. And we get to work with some really cool companies. Helping organizations elevate the experiences they offer is really why Momentive exists. We've purpose-built solutions for empowering brands at every stage of their customers' journey. We're helping companies of all industries, all sizes, from high growth startups to now currently serving 95% of the Fortune 500. Today, you'll hear some examples from companies that we're working with, in addition to how we at Momentive have put our own solutions into practice. So that brings me to today's discussion. We'll talk about what makes a strong go-to-market strategy. And then I'll dive into 5 practical ways to use market and customer insights to inform your strategy and execution. And while this is all intuitive to me, someone who lives and breathes research, it might not be for all of you. So I'll make sure that you have some tangible steps for getting started today. I'll start with some data from PMA's latest State of Product Marketing report. You can find this on their website. We product marketers have a tough job. We need to combine market and customer knowledge to influence the product roadmap, create go-to-market strategies, and enable our marketing, sales, and customer success partners to be successful. Just look at this list of responsibilities. The majority of us are owning positioning and messaging, managing launches, sales collateral, market research, and then you see things like towards the bottom that some of us also own, like roadmap planning and customer onboarding. It's a lot. One thing is for certain, though, more data from the same report, most product marketers are in charge of leading the go-to-market process and product launches. That doesn't mean that launches are always successful, though, in terms of meeting customer adoption and financial targets. The same PMA report showed that launches are deemed successful by product marketers less than half the time if you combine those first two triangles there. Now, there may be a bunch of reasons that this could be the case, but if we get real with ourselves, a lot of the success and lack thereof of launches can be attributed to the go-to-market strategy. So there's a lot that you need to get right. Here is a short list of things that make a really strong go-to-market strategy. So first, there's the launch process alignment. So do you have clear launch goals and accountability towards those goals? A launch timeline, maybe even with some go, no-go milestones in case anything gets delayed. Roles and responsibilities. At Momentive, we use a DAISY model, sometimes known as a RACI model. Whatever works for you, make sure that people know their role and what the expectations are in a launch. And then success measurement and tracking, super important to make sure that even before you've launched anything live, that you know how you're going to measure success. Next, you've got to have a focused strategy. So this includes all of your assessment around the market and competitive intelligence that then inform your ideal customer profile, target personas, product messaging and differentiation, the pricing and packaging strategy. And then finally, to pull off a successful launch with, you need an effective execution plan. So that's all about product readiness. So both in terms of the product releases themselves, but also ensuring product market fit, acquisition strategy. How are you bringing customers in the door? You know, is this a self-serve, you know, kind of working people through a conversion funnel? Is this a sales assisted sales, inbound and outbound sales model? You need to make sure that you've got sales and success enablement, effective content and collateral. And then customer advocacy is huge, especially when you think beyond just the initial launch, which, by the way, customers, having customer partners in a launch dramatically increases the not just the impact, but also the press, the appetite for press. But then also the cross-sell motion. Once you have customers on board, it's so much easier to tell that story. We are going to focus a little bit on these areas here that I've highlighted. So how market and customer insights can influence refining your target buyer personas, testing and validating your messaging, measuring sales confidence, establishing credibility through great content, and building a bench of customer advocates. So let's start with this first one here, refining your target buyer personas. At Momentive, for each of our top buyer personas, we create what we call persona packs. They're precursor to full-blown persona messaging frameworks that are used as internal overview trainings and cheat sheets about our personas. They span information I've listed here about buyers' responsibilities and challenges and how we solve for those challenges, what may trigger a purchase event, and their then evaluation criteria for selecting vendors. We have a section on the ideal customer profile, to our marketing and sales with who to target, which solutions or use cases to lead with, and of course, customer stories. Now, it can be difficult and time consuming to get in front of enough customers to do the necessary research to refine your personas. Same PMA report showed that almost 1 in 5 product marketers never directly talk to customers, which is a bit mind-boggling to me. But I guess I understand if you do have a UX research team or customer marketing team that are really more the face of those interactions and you're gathering that intel elsewhere. But I also get it. It's time consuming and difficult to get in front of those customers. Ultimately, you do probably want a wide variety of data sources and research to inform your personas. This could be split into qualitative and quantitative. So qualitative research may include interviewing either with customers, closed loss prospects, your own network, internal experts, existing UX or pricing interviews that maybe have already taken place as part of the product development process. Sales calls, whether you're shadowing them live or listening to them on a platform like Gong, webinars, events, those kinds of presentations, getting out there, seeing what your target buyers are talking about, presenting about, industry articles. We also love to scour job descriptions to understand roles and responsibilities for different titles. And then there's the quantitative research side, which might include, the classic state of department reports, state of marketing, state of customer success, et cetera, et cetera. Industry reports, market research surveys, of course, sales funnel data, product usage data, anything that's going to give you a nice sound foundation of who's buying, what are they buying, how much are they spending, yada, yada, yada. And so while qual can give you that really great in-depth contextual information, it's hard to gather that at scale. And then the flip side to that is that quant won't really provide that why behind the data or that extra context. I do think surveys can be a happy medium here, which is why I want to talk about our usage and attitudes solution. UNAs are most frequently done at B2C companies, actually. I used to work with Procter & Gamble, and they are refreshing their knowledge of their target consumers on a pretty frequent basis. I'm now seeing more and more B2B companies are also doing this type of research on their target buyers at scale. So with UNA studies, you can survey your target buyers using, like, for example, our integrated global panel, which reaches over 130 countries. It includes B2B targeting, B2C targeting, over 200, I think, attributes that we have, but you can also custom screen to find the right people. We typically, when we're doing our research, we'll target full-time, manager plus, business decision makers, some level of influence or authority on purchasing decisions. And so then you can profile those buyer segments by demographic, psychographic, firmographic, behavioral characteristics, really cut and slice and dice just to create those profiles. You can quantify and prioritize their top challenges. So it's, better than having just a list. You can see, okay, what's actually really eating at them. You can uncover insights about the purchasing process, who's involved, who owns the budget, where they seek out information. And then our solution includes a key drivers analysis, which shows which attributes and behaviors lead to outcomes like purchase intent. So we can figure out what's correlated with some of those key outcomes that you're trying to drive. Really cool. And something that, you might not typically think of when you think of the kind of research that product marketers might do. But here's a really great example with the research done at Kajabi, which is a platform for creators and entrepreneurs. That's what they use to manage their online businesses. It's a great example of product marketing actually doing this kind of research. The situation there was the product had advanced in ways that opened up opportunities to serve new customers. And so the product marketing team at Kajabi was challenged with defining the scope of who they should be targeting. So beyond just creators to possibly entrepreneurs running all types of small businesses. And this would inform the entire funnel from brand campaigns through to the sales funnel and how they target there. They ended up running a UNA as a first project, almost like a foundation setting project to making some of those decisions and then building on that for ongoing research. It gave way to how they structured their brand health tracker, who they targeted for additional research, like name and message testing, and again, like how they structured all the rest of the work that they did as product marketers. Caitlin Roberts, that was the PMM on the team driving a lot of this effort, summed it up as allowing the team at Kajabi to quantify customer problems, understand their context, and bring customers to the table when it comes to decision making, which is huge when developing and refining personas. Okay, so that brings me on to number 2, testing and validating your messaging. I'm going to proclaim that knowing whether our messages are resonating with prospects is one of the biggest challenges we have as product marketers. There are certainly ways to try and tease this out. One way is through implicit data, which is data where we're kind of more making inferences from data sets. So click-through rates, conversion rates, win rates, A/B tests. And then there's explicit data, which is data like where people are telling us directly what they think. So interviews with customers and prospects, feedback from the sales reps, sales calls, message testing, is a great way to do this. The challenge with implicit data is you can never really be 100% certain unless this is a very well-structured copy-only experiment that you're running, that you're capturing the impact of messaging itself, and not any other confounding factors. And so it also lacks that human context. Explicit data, on the other hand, can be really time consuming to collect, to go through interviews, feedback from reps, all of that, and challenging to synthesize. So we've started using survey-based message testing, of course, because we have our own solutions available to us. We're lucky ducks in that way, in our process. And it's really sped up our time to market considerably. So let me tell you about our message testing solution. It is another one of the purpose-built solutions that we have at Momentive, and it's definitely the one that I use the most frequently in my job as a product marketer. And so with message testing, again, you can survey those target buyers. For us, again, we're typically targeting a broad group of business decision makers. And then what we do is we compare how our messages score across a variety of both default or custom attributes. What you want to make sure you're doing is aligning the attributes you're testing with associations we're trying to drive as a brand, or how you want to be known, or how you want this product to resonate. And then you can quickly understand the differences across buyer segments with our built-in AI-powered insights. And you can then compare your results to over 95 industry benchmarks, including SaaS, which is what we use to benchmark ourselves. And I'm going to share a very fresh project with you. This might be going against some rule somewhere of sharing real data, but whatever, we're going to do it. So just the other week, this was right at the end of June, I ran a headline test for our Momentive homepage. So you can see the homepage design on the left. Admittedly, we are still using the same homepage that we launched with our rebranding announcement on June 9th of last year. So it's been over a year without any changes. Now, this was fine when we launched the new brand. It was talking about our brand values, explaining our logo mark, but the current design isn't really continuing to be that successful for us. It was doing that more so than communicating what we do, how our solutions tangibly offer value. And so we chose 6 headlines to test. You can see them here using our message testing solution. They all corresponded to either a value prop, a category message, or a platform message. And interestingly, leadership was pushing for something that conveyed the category we play in. So on the next slide, I'll share the results with you. All right, so results do come back in a very clean, easy to digest scorecard with messages across the top. So you can see them here. And then metrics along the side. And so you can see we tested things like overall appeal, clarity, brand impression, innovation, and likelihood to learn more, which is what you want someone to do on your homepage. So any guesses on the winning headline? All right, so we had 2 messages that won by a landslide. Both were simpler language relating back to one of our key value props, ease or speed. So the 2 messages were making it easier to know how your customers think and feel, and real insights from real people really fast. And what we're doing now that we have these results is taking the top 2 winning messages to design a new homepage hero components, and then get those 2 into a rotating experiment. So once we test those, we even have the third place message on reserve that we can test later on. Curious if you agree with the results. You can let me know in the chat. Could spark some fun debate. But this was, again, a very fresh example. We just ran this a couple weeks ago, and we're leveraging the results in practice right now as we design those new homepage heroes. So really, really quick way to get feedback and narrow down your ideas. All right, which brings us to number 3, which is all about improving sales and success confidence. So given that product marketers are involved in so many strategic initiatives, it only makes sense that we are tied to just as many success metrics. Here's more data from that PMA report. And as you look through it, not a single metric was reported by more than half of product marketing teams. That's a little crazy when you think about it. All teams everywhere are using all these different kinds of metrics. There's no like one thing we can all agree on, which is, I guess what comes with this role. When I look at these, so many of the metrics are just metrics that we influence, but don't own outright, meaning we don't have full control over the success. I guess maybe you could argue that's the case with asset utilization or sales confidence. So let's talk about sales confidence. Only about a third of product marketing teams are measured against this, but I could argue that this is probably one of the most important metrics I keep track of to measure the direct impact of my team's work. So we run a sales confidence survey. Here is the typical survey flow that we use internally here at Momentive. We send this out about once a quarter to all of our SDRs, BDRs, AEs, CSMs. It's been invaluable really for helping us plan our enablement roadmap. It includes demographics like role, tenure in the role, and we can filter by all of that stuff in analysis. And it can even help arm our sales managers like, hey, here's how your team is doing. And then we have confidence metrics across all the different stages of the sales cycle. So from strategy to discovery to pricing, even upsell. And then my team especially cares about things like confidence in pitching our different solutions and competitive differentiation. And then we always give space for open-ended feedback. So actually some great ideas have come from some of the write-ins in this survey. And for all of you, as a little gift, we'll be following up and sending you our sales confidence survey template so you can actually implement this at your organization if you don't have something like this already. One example of a question that we ask is around sales confidence when speaking about our solutions. It's a 5-point scale from not at all confident to very confident. And then when we do the analysis, what we're doing is combining the top 2 box scores. So we add together somewhat confident plus very confident to arrive at a single number that you can track over time. In this case, it's in the green bar. And this would be how it would look in our SurveyMonkey Enterprise platform. And there's a lot of customizations you could do with the analysis, share it with different stakeholders. Which is what we do, enablement, product marketing, sales leadership, all kind of want to look at these results every quarter. But really the magic happens when you start looking at trends over time. So here's a trend we were seeing in confidence and competitive intelligence. PMM and strategy teamed up to create a deep dive competitive intel training, which included overall market landscape and trends, with solution by solution, how we stack up and where we win. And it had an overwhelming impact on this metric. Huge jump from, actually, you don't even see the data point here, but this time last year, we were sitting at 3% confident, all the way up to 90%. So huge. And then here's a similar trend for sales strategy and tactics, hovering in the middle ground, but not strong and not improving. What we did was we initiated a cross-functional effort to create a comprehensive sales playbook that spanned all stages of the sales cycle with all of our templates and tools and best practices all in one place. And it ended up being over 100 pages long in a Google Doc, pretty crazy. Took us several months to create it. And when we did, the reps ate it up. Again, look at this impact. We've since incorporated both of these enablement efforts into our new hire onboarding. We're seeing overall higher confidence metrics with the shorter tenured reps and new hires. It's just been so amazing to pinpoint where the gaps are, fill them, and then quickly see impact. Then brings us to number 4, establishing authority and credibility. So you might be wondering how Insights ties in here. Well, it's all about creating credible content to support your go-to-market strategy. Turns out it's what people want. A whopping 82% of people would rather read an article based on data than the writer's opinion alone. And top brands are already doing this. You're publishing original research reports to build credibility and authority. Here you see a smattering of research from the PMA, of course. I've been using that all session. Salesforce, HubSpot, Twilio, Zendesk, Slack, Snowflake, Amplitude, Zora, LinkedIn, Drift. This is just a key part of these brands' strategy. And a great go-to-market example is with Brex, the fintech company for high growth companies and startups. They were gearing up for a product launch that they were unveiling at a trade show and wanted to pack a bit more of a punch. They decided to do a market research survey using SurveyMonkey audience, targeting financial professionals responsible for closing the books every month to get some fundamental stats that corroborated the challenges that their new product solved for. They received insights in just 2 days and created a whole campaign around the data, including the collateral that they physically put in the seats at the presentation at the conference. It's a great example of how research can become integrated into a campaign to drive more credibility around a go-to-market launch. And that brings us to number 5, building a bench of customer advocates and proof points. All right. Let's hear directly from the voice of one of our customers. Time for a little story. Let me know if this sounds familiar. We have a sales team of about 150 people globally. We were getting bombarded with requests for more customer stories and references. So we built a really robust customer marketing program to generate customer content for sales and for our website. But meeting with existing clients, crafting their story, and publishing in the right formats was a huge time suck. And as a result, we had a couple of really good case studies, but they didn't fully represent the growing portfolio of industries and personas that we serve. Ultimately, marketing was constantly lagging behind and needed to catch up. I don't know about you, but this really hits home for me. In 2 years, the business unit I work on at Momentive went from 1 insight solution to 23. We haven't come close to catching up with all the case studies we should have right now, which is luckily, luckily we have a solution called Tech Validate that helps you gather social proof at scale. It's a survey-based solution, but really what makes it unique is the way that this research comes from a third party, which makes for a good customer experience, filling out all the information, as well as the validation you get when you publish what we call tech facts. And so with Tech Validate, you can capture and transform customer feedback into testimonials, product stats, reviews, and more. Arm your sales and marketing teams with customer stories filtered by industry, persona, or product. Quickly identify the customers that you want to go deeper on for case studies, speaking engagements, video, ABM, any other marketing activities. They basically check off what they're willing to participate in. It's awesome. And Gong actually is one of our customers benefiting from the speed at which they can create compelling customer proof points for their sales and marketing teams. So they actually collected hundreds of customer testimonials in just 2 days and are using Salesforce, the Salesforce integration we have, to make them readily available for customer-facing teams. In Sheena's words, the Senior Director of Marketing at Gong, they're able to measure the immeasurable, find the ideal quote, introduce the customer, and win new business through an auto-collected reference that all pays for itself many times over. In my 7 years at Momentive, I've run Tech Validate projects every couple of years, and each time I'm amazed at the customers that come forward willing to share their thoughts. Sometimes the best stories, those money quotes, come from customers that were kind of flying under your radar. So again, huge solution for collecting that customer insight at scale, really tangible way to turn that into action. Okay, so by now you're probably understanding that marketing customer insights are critical for a successful go-to-market strategy, but you might be wondering where you begin. Here are a couple of things you can start doing today to bring more customer and market insights into your process and the way that you work. So the first is assessing the current state of market and customer research at your organization. Who's doing it? Where does it live? What can you leverage that already exists today? Identify 1 to 2 things that you're doing manually that you would benefit from insights at scale. So where could you incorporate surveys or one of the solutions we talked about today into the work that you do? And then just start with 1 project. Maybe it's personas or messaging or case studies. Start with 1, introduce market research and customer surveys, and then Just go from there, build as you go. And then one thing that we've done that's worked really well is document the research process so you can scale it within your team and organization. Of course, our team would be happy to provide a consultation to help get you started, because I know it's not as easy as I make it seem. Well, I've run out of time today. That's a wrap. But I will be able to follow up if you do have any questions. Just reach out. Feel free to connect with me on LinkedIn. And my team will be at the PMA Summit in San Francisco. So if you're local to the Bay Area, we may be able to meet up in person. We're also hiring product marketers at Momentive, so definitely check out our careers page. Thank you to the PMA for having me, and I hope you enjoy the rest of the show.